Hey crafty cuties, welcome back to my channel. So as you may be able to tell, I am in a bit of a different location. I am actually back home for the weekend. I guess the home I grew up in. Now that I have my own apartment, it's kind of weird, but you know, I'm home for the weekend. So I know my lighting and my sound and my camera centering are probably not that good because I don't have all my normal equipment, my tripod and my lamp. But I wanted to show you guys this blanket that I'm making because if all goes right, I'm giving it away tomorrow and won't be able to show you. So I'm not done, so I'm gonna be talking while I finish it. It's a sunflower blanket with a scallop border. It's a granny square blanket, the first one I've ever made. Made and finished, I'll say. I'm working on another one, but that one's a lot more complicated. And I'll put a link in the description to where I found this sunflower pattern. It's kind of confusing the first time I read it. So if you guys want, I can make a video showing how to do it. Since it's a free pattern, I don't feel that bad about showing you how to do it because it's not like the original creator is getting money off of it, but I will still link the pattern in the description so you guys can look at that and get it from the original source as much as I can find the original source anyway. So I have 5 different colors. I have orange with a dark brown center, white with a light brown center, yellow with a light brown center, orange with a light brown center, and yellow with a dark brown center. I just thought it'd be fun to have multiples. I was like, if I do it all the same, it's gonna look boring. I even thought about putting just green squares in to break it up, but I don't think it's as crazy as it looks when I planned it out on my computer, because in that, then the repetition was a lot. I am still not done with the border. I am just really hoping that it that it all works out, because if the scallop is off, I'm gonna lose my mind, and I'm also just gonna force it to work because I am not doing it again. This is taking so long. I thought I didn't have too much to do, but stitching them all together and then this border have taken like all day, and I had homework to do, so I did not get around to doing too much homework today. I still did a little, not nearly as much as I should have, I'm sure, but it's Labor Day weekend, so I have tomorrow to do some homework, and hopefully it doesn't come back to bite me that I waited so long. I mean, I'm sure it will. It always does, but I'm usually on top of it. It was just this weekend. I know it's only like my coming on 3rd week of school, but I am already so exhausted. But yeah, so I'm making this blanket for a family member. She's my cousin, but growing up I thought she was more like my aunt. She's technically my mom's cousin, so I don't really know what that makes her, like my second cousin or something like that. But yeah, she really likes sunflowers, and her birthday was a few weeks ago. I didn't get to see her then because I'm not in town. One reason I'm rushing this blanket so much is I had planned to give it to her when I saw her at our family reunion thing that we do in October, but I just found out this weekend that she's not going to be there. So I'm lucky that I brought this home with me, because I was like, oh, it'll give me a chance to work on it. If I finish it, I can give it to her while I'm here this week. But that's not going to happen. Today is Sunday. I had planned on going back tonight, Sunday night, so that I could take Monday, my day off, Labor Day, and use it as a homework day where I was in my room back closer to campus and more in a study mindset. But I was like, well, I really have to finish this blanket. If you're wondering what I'm doing now, it's a scallop border, and so what it is it's you do a slip stitch, you skip 1, you do 5 double crochets in the stitch after the one you skipped, 3, 4, 5, then you skip 1, slip, and you repeat that process. So yeah, I'm finishing up that border, and this is gonna take me a while because I was like, oh, I have 1 edge left. Then it turns out I only did 1.5. So no, I have so much more of this to do. I really didn't think it would take that long because I'm like, oh, I'm not even crocheting in every stitch, but the 5 double crochet really adds up. I'm really hoping I have enough yellow yarn. It's nice though because it's using a lot of my yellow yarn, and I was gonna have so much yellow, orange, and the 2 browns left over. I had to buy a second thing of green, but those other colors, like, because they're not used as much, even though like it looks like there's more of that than green. I guess maybe it doesn't. It definitely is green forward, which is fine because that's my cousin's favorite color. But I would think, or, but I still had a lot of them left over. Like, let me show you. This is my orange. I was taking it out of the middle, so you can kind of see this emptier in the middle. When you take it out of the middle, if you have skeins that can do that, then you don't have to ball it first, so it saves you some time. What was I saying? I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted. It is 2:30 in the morning because I'm trying to leave tomorrow around lunchtime because I still have to go home and do all that homework that I need my desktop computer for. So, I am scrambling to get this done, and then after this, you probably saw already, but I need to weave in all my loose ends. Not looking forward to it, but there's not that many loose ends because I was weaving them in as I go. I don't know if that's what you call it, but it's where you kind of take the loose end and hide it in the crochets that you're doing as you go. So there's only about 2 loose ends per square, but there's a lot of squares, so I imagine that it'll still take me a decent chunk of time. But like I said, this is the first granny square blanket I did. To connect them, that was a big worry of mine. I was like, oh, that's gonna take forever, because I had only known connecting them as like with like a yarn darner and thread to just like in and out weave them together, which would take forever. And I'm glad I found another way. I'll link the YouTube video in the description of the tutorial that I used to stitch granny squares together, but it was pretty easy. You just basically took the back loop, you took the front loop of the first granny square and the back loop of the other and slip stitched them together, and it comes out really flat and really nice. I'm sure there's a bunch of other ways to do it, but that was the way that was like the style I was looking for, and it was really easy. It's a pretty small blanket, this one that I'm making right now. I thought about making it a bit bigger with my border, but judging just on how long this is taking, I'm kind of glad that I just chose to do the scallop instead. I think it looks nice as well, and it does add a bit. Mine is 8 squares by 10 squares, and the squares are about 3.5 inches, so you can do the math if you want. But I calculated out this scalloped edge, so as long as I don't miss any stitches, or basically as long as I don't miss any stitches or skip anything, I should be good and like not have to worry about it not matching up at the end. But because it's so big, like wherever my misstep is, I might have to start all the way over. So I'm just hoping that if I mess up somewhere, I make another mess up that cancels it out. If you're wondering about the yarn I'm using and the hook size, I'm using the I Love This Yarn brand yarn from Hobby Lobby. If you don't have Hobby Lobby where you live, you might be able to buy it from their website. I'm not sure how far they ship, but it's just like, it's not really a fancy yarn. It's like a typical worsted weight. I'm using a 5mm crochet hook. I think tighter hooks are nicer for some things, but looser hooks are nice for other things. Hot take, that's not as wise as I may have thought it was when I said it, but basically what I mean is, like, when I do amigurumi, I like a tight hook because it makes them look nicer. But in a blanket, a loose hook means I can get a bigger blanket. I have more bang for my buck, basically. And like, since this and a lot of granny squares kind of have gaps in them anyway, especially this pattern that has like all these gaps between the petals, I was like, it doesn't need to be tight. Honestly, this yarn is really hot, and we live in a hot state, so it doesn't need to be a thick blanket. Like, just right now with it on my lap, I'm like, ooh, my legs are getting so hot. But I like this yarn more than the Michaels brand yarn, which is what I use for stuffed animals. I like it more for blankets, this brand I mean, because it's just softer. It's a bit more expensive, not too much more expensive. I only bought yarn when it was on sale, as always, but at Hobby Lobby it goes on sale every 2 or 3 weeks, I'm pretty sure. So, I mean, I think my initial yarn, because I bought a lot of yarn, I bought a lot of colors, as you might be able to tell. I think it's 6 colors, and at $3 a piece, it was about $20 of yarn, and then I bought another green one, still on sale, but so I maybe spent around $22 on this. I didn't spend too much money on this. Like, $20 for a blanket would be a steal for a nice blanket. I don't know if this would be considered a nice blanket. I like it. I hope my cousin does, but when I think of a nice blanket, I think of like a big soft blanket, and this is a small, kind of soft blanket. When I laid them out, my sunflowers, I tried to make sure that I didn't have 2 of the same sunflower next to each other, and I used the white sunflowers to kind of break it up so there wasn't any spots of too much yellow or too much orange. But anyways, I can't remember what else I wanted to say about the process of making this blanket. Yeah, I guess I should say there's an equal number of every type of flower on this blanket. So there's, what is it? There's 16 of each. So there's 32 orange and 32 yellow, but half of them have the darker center and half have the lighter. And then only white ones only have the light center. Sorry if you can hear the train, by the way. I thought about doing a deep red sunflower that only had a dark center, but I decided against it ultimately because I was like, I don't know if I want to add that many colors to this blanket. I think a more subdued color scheme is more effective in a lot of cases. Maybe not more effective, but just as effective when used right, and then it's like, it just shows more thought behind your decisions, or it just means that you thought more about your decisions a lot of the time, which I guess to a lot of people that doesn't matter, but because I'm a graphic designer, I'm always thinking about these sort of things. But I'm gonna finish up this scallop border, which I am almost finished with actually, but then I'm gonna weave in the loose ends, and because I don't know what else I was gonna say about this, I'm not gonna film that process. I don't think I have anything else to talk about, and I'll see you guys back in a second when I am finished up with this blanket. It is 4:27 a.m., but I'm finally done with my my blanket, so let me show that to you. So there it is. You can kind of see how big it is in relation to my bed. This bed is a full, I think is what it is. Those white ones look super stark on the camera. In real life it's a bit more subtle, but I like the way it turned out. I think that the border looks pretty nice. Let's see, a little close up. It's not super flat right now. I'm hoping that'll change. All these squares aren't perfect. Believe it or not, there are some that I made wrong and didn't do right. I don't really know how to explain it. But yeah, that's my first ever granny square blanket. I think it looks pretty cute. I'm pretty happy with it. Like, it's super small. I guess not super small. It's a bit of a weird size. But I think it's like a nice little throw to put on like the back of a couch or something. And I like the way it looks. So that's that on that. So yeah, that is my project. I've been working on it for like a month and a half now, I guess is what it's been. But most of it I have done in these last 2 days. So wish me luck getting all my homework done on time, now that I've officially spent 2 whole days on it. Like, I woke up at 10 today and now it's 4, and I've spent pretty much the whole day working on this. And I had all the squares made. It was just stitching it together and doing the border. But you know, that's how it goes. And I like the way it looks, so I'm not gonna complain. Let me know what you guys think of it in the comments below, and also let me know if you want a video tutorial on how to do that little sunflower granny square. regardless of if I make the video or not, the link to that pattern that I found is in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time with more crochet and DIY based content.